Hello everyone, this is my first time appearing on camera. It's a special day. I'm hitting a rather big milestone for my channel and I want to say thank you. And the best way to do that is in person. I'm about to hit 500 subscribers and I'm very thankful for everyone that watches, everyone that comments. It's a great community and I'm really happy to be a part of it. Alright, let's start out with something we learned this year and we will not be repeating, say, later on in the year or next year. This is my first row. So you see there's nothing there. That was my row of peas. I had a green fence like this set up right here and the peas were just starting to sprout, and I had posted on the boards that some little critter was coming through and eating the tips off my peas. They're just starting to bounce back, but then I found out something and it caused me to pull up the whole thing and I relocated the trellis. What happened is someone was being, sorry, I'm semi-distracted. Someone did something that I didn't know they did, and I would have stopped them before they did it, but they did it out of the kindness of their heart, so I can't get mad. But what it was, the issue is that they took mothballs and they smashed up mothballs and put it right on top of all the peas to keep the critters away, because that's what you can do in some flower beds. The problem is that we consume peas, and it's a little controversial. Some people might be okay with it, but I'm not. And a lot of people, other people online are not. The issue is that the peas can actually uptake the mothballs and then you're consuming it. And it's just something I didn't really want to do. So I probably will not be planting anything in that row the rest of the year, and then it'll eventually leach away. It wasn't huge mounds, but I'm just not gonna risk it because we give some food away to other families and I don't want to deal with, toxicities and all other kinds of problems. But that's lesson one. I'm not putting mothballs on peas anymore. I didn't do it personally, but you know where I'm going with it. Alright, but anyway, on to bigger and better stuff. Under these row covers, you can see we got giant red mustard. And then if I pan over carefully, without getting you guys too sick, we have green mustard. The row covers are this is the first year we're using row covers. That's actually kale. But it's actually getting too big for the row covers. It's growing fantastic, no bug marks in it. I gotta get more row covers, right? We come down here. We have our little kale patch. Good dozen or so. Those are all from transplants from indoors. Kale loves, has no problems transplanting whatsoever. Then we're on to our next issue. This row for the trellis is cucumbers. And I'm having an issue with cucumbers. So you can see, that plant is dead. It's just we had a couple 40-degree nights and maybe a few degrees cooler than that, and it just killed them off. That one's okay. Random, maybe, I don't know. I planted 18 of them down the row, and maybe 3 or 4 died. So that's not bad. No reason to replant. 14 to 16 plants is still plenty of cucumbers. The entire garden, for those that are new, is I used to have plant up to here in my old videos from the last couple of years. I share this plot with a neighbor, and sadly my neighbor passed away. And so I talked to the property owner because this is a undeveloped lot, and I'm allowed to actually stay here and keep planting the garden. So now the torch has been passed and I'm doing the whole garden. It's 25 foot by about 25 foot. It's big. And I know I didn't plant it optimally for this year, but I'm working on it. This is my first big year. But then we have a row of radishes. They're just now starting to come up. Well, actually, they came up last week, but they're just now starting to get their main leaves and secondary leaves and all that fun stuff. Usually I have pretty good luck with radishes. This and the one next to it, and maybe one down there, is it's a Polish lettuce. I don't know, the package is in Polish and I don't read Polish. My heritage is Polish. I probably should read Polish, but I don't. But a friend gave that to me, and they're doing all right. The cold kind of hit them too. Have some issues with that. But we come down, and I'm not going to walk the entire aisle, but what's going to happen here is more kale. Another 15 or so plants. But now we'll get into the more interesting stuff. This is my pepper patch. The plants are roughly a foot and a half spacing. All different types. I believe these are large, thick. And there's some Jimmy Nardellos in here. Plants are very healthy. These were all pruned at one time. Remember my first pruning video, day 1? I actually pruned most of my peppers. I pruned all of them but that one plant. So these have all been pruned, and they're kind of doing their thing. Lots and lots and lots of blooms. And just about an hour ago, I've been down here, I actually saw my first ladybug. At least I hope it's a ladybug. It was definitely mostly red, more in the red tinge with a black head. So I think that's a ladybug. There's a couple bugs that look very similar, but I think that was a ladybug. I went to go get my camera, and the thing, of course, is gone by the time I get back. But enough jibber jabber on that. These peppers down here are, well, at least 4 or 5 of them are super peppers. And I don't know if you can see that, but there are a lot of blooms and a lot of peppers. It's incredible. I mean, look at all that. And they're all like that. And I think this is a Jimmy Nardello, but it's doing really good too. Everything is bright and green. Now, during the confusion and everything, this stretch, I don't know what happened. I ran out of ideas. I didn't quite get something in time. I'm down to planting my squash and watermelons, which this is not a good area for. So I just threw a bunch of random seeds down, just broadcasted them. Did some, I did a little bit of everything, I think. Some onions, scallions, beets, turnips. I don't know, I just threw a bunch of seeds down. We'll see what happens. I'm not too concerned. If nothing pops up in a week or so, I'm gonna plant some beans there. All right, here I am in the next aisle. I just ran down the aisle because the sun is blocking out my shot with my shadow. These are my pole beans. They are not liking life right now. In fact, they are so mad that they're dying. At least most of them are dying. Don't get sick on me. You can see this little guy. He just popped up. He's already diseased. I don't know. Those two seem to be doing okay. I mean, some plants seem to be doing okay and others, not so much. I know it's hard to see. What happens is this time of the year, one of our trees decides to drop all its seeds, so it blocks out everything that you guys can see. It's just hundreds of thousands of these seeds. On the other side of this fence, I think you can see, stay with me a minute here. I know it's going to get a little bumpy. But over here I have my bush beans. Now, I think someone can tell me that the cold probably got them too. A couple of these are okay, like this one's okay. This one's alright, but you can see there's a little disease there or something. This one, the seed leaves are heavily diseased. And a lot of them are like this. I don't know if that's just from the cold. I don't know. This is my first year doing beans, so I really don't know anything about beans. And, you know, off and on the entire row's like that. The sun's really starting to come up now. I wanted to get out here before it was this bright. But here's the big one, the tomatoes. the tomatoes, 30 of them. In the first row on the back side there, I have, what is it, hybrid Husky. It's like a cherry tomato. And then right in front of me, we have, what is it, big beef, beef steak, something like that. Plants are doing fantastic. And as you know from my tomato planting video, the pails or the pots are actually over the root ball when these plants were still in red cups. As you can see, the plant straightened itself out and is incredibly sturdy. And this is actually one of the weaker ones. Those over there are determinants, and those things are very strong. Oops, sorry, don't want to move the camera too quick on you. And then we got the big beef, and then here we have jet stars. These are actually indeterminates, so we're going to be using these steaks strategically as they get bigger. Everything's just, I found my first aphid nymph cluster, so they got squished. That was yesterday. And then I found one more aphid today, and it got squished. Hopefully those ladybugs stick around. These last 6 here are celebrities. They should be determinate. We'll see what happens. I've not grown any of these tomato types myself. I have my partner grew, or my plot partner grew jet stars, so I'm growing those again. But the other varieties are all new to me. I got really hooked on determinate tomatoes. I just like the way they grow, and it's not like herding cats. Down here, you'll recognize those from my pepper video. And I won't talk about those because I have an episode of that coming up soon. And that's what's going on so far. You can see me in the shadows. Hey! Over here is another about 15 foot by 15 foot area, maybe a little bit bigger. I can actually still grow over here too. This is where all the squash is going to go, watermelon, and hopefully that will be in the next day or so, because the seedlings are getting rather big. But that's the garden. It's not optimal, but I'm going to work on that. I'm going to see how big these tomatoes grow. They should be spaced out just right, and I got to figure out my whole bean situation. Anyway, I don't want to ramble. Everyone take care, and thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Checking my frame. Checking if I'm in frame. Damn, sun is in my eyes again.